Good morning, distinguished lecturers, fellow students, and honorable guests. Welcome to our academic forum. It is a privilege to stand before you today as we examine a question that is deeply relevant to the future of learning. That is, ethical considerations must guide the use of AI in education. In the past decade, artificial intelligence has moved from science fiction into daily life. In education, it now powers language learning apps, helps teachers mark assignments, and even recommends personalized learning paths for students. At first glance, this sounds like an incredible step forward. Imagine classrooms where every student receives tailor-made support, where teachers save hours of administrative work, and where learning is accessible even in remote corners of the world. And yet, there is another side to this story. AI systems also collect vast amounts of data. They may unintentionally reinforce gender or cultural bias, and they may tempt institutions to replace human teachers with machines in the name of efficiency. This raises an essential question. If AI is to be used in education, how can we ensure it respects human dignity, fairness, and privacy? Today, we are joined by two panelists who will help us reflect on these questions. Haris and Saief. Now, both agree that AI holds promise, and both agree that ethics matter. But they sometimes differ on how ethics should be applied, how strict they should be, and how quickly innovation should proceed. So, over the course of this forum, they will present their arguments, challenge one another, and persuade us with their insights. My role as a moderator is to guide the discussion, to highlight key ideas, and to ensure we gain a balanced understanding of this complex issue. But of course, I will also talk a bit about my own points. So now, let us begin with their opening perspectives. So, Haris, let us start with you first. Why do you believe ethics must guide the use of AI in education?
So, AI is becoming an important part of modern education, but its success depends on whether students and teachers are willing to use it. This is why ethics must guide the use of AI in education. The most important reason is that ethics helps build trust in technology, which is the foundation for effective learning with AI. When technology is ethical, the students and teachers can trust that it is fair, transparent, and respectful. For example, if an AI grading system explains how it makes decisions and protects students' privacy, learners are more likely to accept its results. On the other hand, if the system feels biased or secretive, students may lose confidence in it and resist using it. In education, trust is essential because learning depends on openness and willingness to try new methods. Without ethical guidance, AI could harm trust by reinforcing inequality, misusing data, or replacing human judgment. Once trust is broken, students and teachers may see technology as a threat rather than a support. This would reduce the benefits of AI, such as personalized learning and quick feedback.
Okay, so thank you, Haris. So you highlight the risk of harm if ethics are ignored. Now, Saief, what is your opening position?
So, in my opinion, ensuring fairness and equity is one of the most critical ethical considerations in guiding the use of AI in education. As we know, education at its heart is meant to provide equal opportunities for all learners, regardless of their background, gender, or socio-economic status. However, AI systems are trained on data, and data often reflect existing inequalities. If these biases are left unchecked, AI may unintentionally reinforce them. For example, if an AI-powered learning platform is trained primarily on data from urban schools, it may not accurately represent the experiences of students in rural areas. Similarly, if the training data carries historical gender or even racial stereotypes, the system might recommend science subjects more often to male students than to female students, thereby perpetuating inequality. To prevent such outcomes, fairness must be embedded into the design and deployment of AI tools. This means using diverse and representative data sets, conducting regular audits to detect bias, and ensuring transparency in how AI makes decisions. Moreover, there must be human oversight so that the teachers and administrators can step in whenever the system risks and treating students unfairly. That's all from me.
I completely agree with this perspective. Fairness and equity are essential because education should never disadvantage any group of students. AI has the potential to improve learning, but without ethical guidance, it can unintentionally mirror the same inequalities found in society. Your example about urban versus rural schools is very powerful. It shows how easily students can be left behind if data is not diverse. The idea of embedding fairness into AI design, such as using representative datasets and regular bias audits, is practical and necessary. It also reminds us that AI should never replace teachers, but rather support them with transparency and accountability. In the end, ethical use of AI ensures that technology serves as a tool for inclusion rather than exclusion. By focusing on fairness, education can remain true to its purpose, giving every learner an equal opportunity to grow and succeed.
I see. So thank you, Haris. You highlight. Thank you both. Already, we see the heart of the debate. Saief talked about ensuring fairness and equity. And on the other hand, Haris elaborated on building trust in technology. So here, I would also like to give my own opinion. So from my perspective, protecting students' rights and well-being is crucial. As we all know, AI tools often collect sensitive information, be it grades, learning habits, or even emotional responses. If not properly protected, this data could be exposed to hackers, misused by companies, or shared without consent. So, ethical guidelines ensure that students' personal information is stored and used responsibly. Besides, constant AI monitoring, like facial recognition or behavior tracking, can make students feel pressured or stressed. Harsh or poorly designed AI feedback could harm self-esteem rather than encourage growth. Ethical use means designing AI to motivate and support students instead of causing anxiety. And also, we cannot overlook autonomy and consent. So here, students should know what data is being collected and how it will be used. They deserve the right to opt out of certain AI systems rather than being forced into surveillance without understanding. Respecting consent protects students' dignity and helps build trust in AI tools. And that's all from my perspective. Now, let us move on to the first key issue, privacy. So, as we all know, AI depends on data, but data can be misused, right? So, Haris, why is privacy such an urgent concern in education?
So, privacy is an urgent concern in education because the information collected about students can have long-term effects on their future. Unlike temporary classroom assessment, digital records and AI-generated data can follow students for many years. If mishandled, this information could shape opportunities in ways that limit rather than support their growth. For example, if a student's performance data or behavioral history is shared carelessly, it may affect future school admission, scholarship, or even job prospects. A single mistake or unfair judgment made by an AI system could leave a lasting mark on a learner's record. This shows that protecting privacy is not only about safeguarding data in the present, but also about ensuring students are not unfairly judged or restricted in the future. By making privacy a priority, schools can ensure that students' personal and academic data are used only to support learning, not to create barriers. This ethical approach allows students to move forward in life without being burdened by past record or biased interpretation. In this way, protecting privacy helps secure the fairness and freedom every learner deserves throughout their educational journey and beyond.
I see. So, Saief, how would you respond to that?
So for me, one of the most pressing ethical considerations in using AI in education is the risk of misuse and exploitation. So while AI can greatly enhance teaching and learning, without proper safeguards, it can also be used in ways that harm students or undermine the integrity of education. For instance, AI system can be misused by commercial companies to seeking profit rather than the welfare of learners. Student data, which is often highly sensitive, could be exploited for targeted advertising or even sold to the third parties. In such cases, the very trust that education depends on would be violated. Another form of misuse is over-reliance. For example, schools might adopt AI not to enhance learning but to cut costs, replacing teachers with automated systems. This not only devalues the teaching profession but also deprives students of human guidance, empathy, and mentorship that machines cannot replicate. There is also the risk of academic dishonesty. As we can see, with advanced AI tools incapable of generating essays, solving problems, or even producing exam answers, students may misuse the technology to bypass genuine learning without ethical frameworks, and also AI could unintentionally encourage laziness rather than critical thinking. Therefore, ethical guidance is essential to prevent exploitation. Regulations, transparency, and human oversight must ensure that AI is used to support education and not to profit from or weaken it. In this way, we can harness AI potential while protecting students from harm. That's all from me.
I see. So right now, both of you agree that privacy matters, right? So from my understanding, Hadris emphasizes long-term impact on students' lives, while on the other hand, Saief, on the other hand, talked about risk of misuse and exploitation, right? So this shows that delicate balance between protecting students and ensuring progress. So from my point of view instead, the sensitive nature of student data cannot be ignored. But the thing is that schools and AI tools handle names, addresses, family backgrounds, and contact details. So if leaked, this information could expose students to identity theft, to scams, or even physical risks. So furthermore, test scores, learning progress, as well as performance data are often stored digitally, and therefore unauthorized access Unauthorized access or errors in these records could affect scholarships, admissions, or job opportunities. Also, emotional and behavioral data is deeply private. Many AI systems track attendance as well as classroom behavior or even emotional states through cameras and sensors. This type of data, if misused, could unfairly label or stigmatize a student for years. Moreover, children and teenagers are especially vulnerable. Unlike adults, they cannot fully consent to how their data is collected and shared. Ethical handling of data ensures that they are protected while still benefiting from AI tools. Now, let's move on to the third question. So now we're at the third segment. So this is about fairness and bias. So another issue is fairness. AI systems are trained on data, which may reflect bias. So Saief, do you see AI bias as a real threat?
In my opinion, is one of the key is ethical issues in using AI in education is the potential for unfair treatment of students. AI systems operate based on the data they are trained on, and if this data contains hidden bias, the system may unintentionally favor some students while disadvantaging others. For example, an AI grading system trained primarily on essays written in standard English may unfairly penalize students who use non-standard dialects, even if their arguments are strong and well-structured. Similarly, AI system may be less accurate for students with disabilities or for those from minority backgrounds. If such groups are underrepresented in the training data, this can create an uneven playing field where some students may be unfairly judged, or not because of their ability, but because of flaws in the systems. Unfair treatment can also occur when AI makes decisions without transparency. If a student is flagged as low performing by an algorithm, but neither the teacher nor the student understands why, it becomes nearly impossible to challenge or correct their judgment. This not only damages the students' confidence but also can risk limiting their future opportunities. Therefore, ethical considerations must guide to ensure AI fairness. This means using inclusive and representative data sets. It can ensuring transparency in decision making and keeping human teachers involved to interpret AI outputs. Only by embedding fairness into AI systems can we protect students from being treated unjustly and ensure the education remains a pathway of equal opportunity for all.
I see. So, what about you, Haris? Do you see AI bias as a real threat?
Yes, I see AI bias might be a real threat because it can cause an erosion of trust in education technology. If students and teachers notice that AI systems give unfair recommendations such as favoring certain groups over others, they will begin to doubt the reliability of these tools. Once trust is broken, people may be reluctant to use AI in learning, grading, or guidance. This undermines the very purpose of introducing technology in education, which is to make learning more effective and supportive. Therefore, addressing bias is not only about fairness but also about protecting long-term confidence in education technology. Without trust, even the most advanced AI systems will fail to serve students effectively.
I see. So, what is your response to Haris, Saief?
I completely agree with this concern. Trust is the foundation of education, and once it is broken, it is incredibly difficult to rebuild. Imagine if students or teachers begin to feel that AI systems are biased or unfair, they will definitely not only lose faith in the technology, but may also reject the opportunities it brings. However, I would argue that this challenge should not discourage us from using AI. It should motivate us to design it more responsibly by ensuring transparency, involving diverse data, and keeping human oversight in place. By doing this, we can reduce bias and maintain confidence. Rather than abandoning AI out of fear, we must improve it so that it becomes a tool people can trust. In the end, fairness and trust go hand in hand. Without them, AI will fail in education, but with them, AI can truly enhance learning for everyone. That's all.
I see. So that's a good point, Saief. So what do you think about that, Haris? Do you agree with Saief?
I completely agree with this concern because trust is the foundation of education. If AI is unfair, students and teachers will lose confidence in using it. That's why we must design AI responsibly with fairness and transparency so it can truly support learning. That's all.
I see. So both of you make excellent points. Both of you agree that bias is a real danger, but you also agree that AI, if designed responsibly, may help reduce bias compared to humans. Now, allow me to talk about my own views. It is my notion that AI might reinforce existing inequalities. AI systems, as we all know, learn from historical data, which may already contain social, cultural, or racial biases. For example, if past exams results show certain groups performing poorly due to unequal opportunities, AI might assume they are weaker students and therefore treat them unfairly. Besides, unequal access to technology also exists. Wealthier schools often have better infrastructure and resources to integrate AI. Students from underprivileged schools, underprivileged backgrounds may not benefit equally, widening the education gap. And there is also the risk of stereotyping and discrimination. Biased AI systems could label or predict student performance based on gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. This risks reinforcing harmful stereotypes instead of promoting equal opportunities. Apart from that, there is the cycle of disadvantage. If AI consistently lowers expectations for certain groups, students may receive fewer learning opportunities. This creates a feedback loop where those already disadvantaged fall further behind. With that said, let's take a look at the fourth question. So, in this segment, some worry that AI could replace teachers. Now, Haris, do you think this is a realistic threat?
So, from my perspective, I don't think AI replacing teachers is a realistic threat because education is a social progress, not just transfer of knowledge. Learning happens through interaction, discussion, and relationships, where teachers play the role of mentor and motivators and guides, while AI can provide information or practice exercises. If it cannot replace the human connection, empathy, and social learning that happen in a classroom. In fact, education is about shaping values, building communication skills, and fostering collaboration among students, the things that require human interaction. AI can assist by handling routine tasks or providing extra resources, but it cannot create the social bonds that make learning meaningful. Therefore, teachers remain at the heart of education, while AI should be seen as a supportive tool that strengthens rather than replaces the social process of learning. That's all from me.
I see. So, Saief, what is your view?
One of the central ethical considerations in education is the role AI should play in the learning process. As we can see, while AI can be incredibly powerful, but it should not be seen as a replacement for teachers. Why? Because by being a replacement for teachers, it would be rather being used as a support tool. This distinction is critical because education is not simply about delivering information, but it is also about mentorship, empathy, and human connection, which, as we know, machines cannot replace it. For instance, AI can handle repetitive administrative tasks such as grading multiple choice tests, analyzing attendance, or even generating progress reports. This allows teachers to devote more time to higher level responsibilities such as guiding critical thinking, nurturing creativity, and providing emotional support, which is important towards the students nowadays. In this way, AI enhances the human role rather than diminishes it. However, if AI is misused as a substitute for teachers, the ethical risk becomes severe. Students may lose the human interaction that helps them develop skills such as values, social skills, and also emotional intelligence. Furthermore, reducing teachers to more supervisors machines undermines the dignity of the teaching profession. Therefore, ethical considerations must guide the use of AI so that it is positioned as an assistant and not a replacement. By keeping the teacher at the center of the learning process, AI can strengthen education, improving efficiency while preserving the humanity that lies at the heart of learning. That's all.
So I think that is exactly what I think too. I completely agree with Saief.
I see. So it seems you both value the teacher's role deeply. Haris emphasizes that education is a social process. On the other hand, Saief stresses that AI works best as a support tool. The common ground is clear. AI must complement, not replace the teacher. Well, personally, I am convinced that AI lacks human qualities. This is because teaching is more than just information delivery. AI can present knowledge, but education is also about nurturing curiosity, inspiring students, and building confidence. Things that require empathy and human connection. Moreover, teachers possess emotional intelligence and mentorship. Teachers understand body language, moods, and struggles that AI cannot interpret in context. A supportive smile, encouragement, or personal advice can make a huge difference in a student's life. Furthermore, teachers provide moral and ethical guidance. Students look to teachers as role models who teach values, integrity, and responsibility. AI has no moral compass. It cannot instill virtues or guide students in making ethical choices. And now, we are getting close to the end of the forum. But as we close, I would like to invite each of you to share one final message. Hadris, please go first.
So for me, the rise of AI in education brings both opportunities and challenges. While it can personalize learning and ease teachers' workload, it must always be guided by fairness, privacy, and trust. When used responsibly, AI will not replace teachers but empower them, helping every student to succeed in a more supportive and inclusive learning environment. That's for me.
So, Saief, would you like to talk about your words?
Okay, before ending this forum, allow me to share one final message to all of our audience. In conclusion, the question is not whether we should use AI in education, but how we should use it. As we know, AI has the power to personalize learning, supporting teachers, and even expanding the access like never before. Yet, without ethical guidance and without fairness, transparency, and respect for privacy, it can bring a risk that becoming a tool of exclusion, exploitation, and mistrust. Ethics must therefore serve as the compass that directs innovation, and they will ensure that technology can enhance education rather than undermines it, and that students are treated not as data points but as human beings with dignity and potential. By placing ethics at the center, we safeguard the true purpose of education, which is to give every learner an equal opportunity to grow, succeed, and contribute to society.
I see. Thank you, Haris and Saief, for your passionate and thoughtful contributions. So, today, we explored 4 major issues: privacy, fairness, the role of teachers, and the balance between caution and progress. So, as I could tell, Haris reminded us that building trust in technology takes time. And on the other hand, Saief reminded us the risk of misuse and exploitation of AI. Interestingly, in many areas you agreed. Both of you value privacy, both of you recognize the danger of bias, and both of you affirm the central role of teachers.
Yes.
But what we cannot deny that AI must be guided by ethics, but also fueled by innovation. Ethics gives us direction, and innovation gives us momentum. And without both, we risk either paralysis or recklessness. On behalf of our speakers and organizers, I thank you all for your attention. This concludes our forum, and may we continue to reflect on how to build an educational future that is both ethical and innovative. Thank you.